It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
As has been mentioned, yesterday the largest federal workers union in the country, they represent 820,000 federal workers, released a statement calling on Democrats to stop playing political games, pass our clean CR, and reopen the government. What was Chuck Schumer's response? Silence. Crickets. He declined to comment. Meanwhile, millions of federal workers are reevaluating how to make ends meet. Air traffic controllers missed their first full paycheck today. Some are turning to food banks, as we've discussed, in order to feed their families. Here is what one Democrat and retired federal worker had to say about the current state of play. Quote, "The Democrats are the ones that actually, in the Senate side, shut down the government. So they have to get together and stop holding Americans hostage. We're about to have people without food, and that's ridiculous. It's not worth it." Remember, that's coming from a Democrat and retired federal worker. Since Chuck Schumer and company won't listen to us, maybe they'll start listening to members of their own party. Enough is enough. You're playing politics with people's lives. And as Leader Scalise and the Speaker have reminded us, for what? So that you can appease the radical pro-terrorist wing of your party. So that you can fundraise off of picking a fight with President Trump. It's not worth it.
This lady in the comments says, "Who can fire Schumer?" Who's going to tell her? Oh my gosh.
055, stop. Stop. Stop.
The high stakes in the air driven home by a San Francisco controller preventing a near disaster this month as a business jet nearly crossed in front of a departing commercial jet.
055, stop. Stop. Stop.
Today, controllers nationwide missed their first full paycheck, with the FAA reporting another 3,000 delays, some due to controller shortages. 24% of all flights delayed Monday, 44% Sunday. An ongoing problem for years, but now made more acute as controllers work without a paycheck, some calling out sick. Nick Daniels is the president of the Controllers Union.
Tomorrow is going to be less safe than today. When an air traffic controller isn't 100% focused on the job that they do day in and day out, that puts the system at risk.
TSA officers missed their first paycheck last Friday.
I didn't buy my medicine this month. I didn't go get my medicine. And I'm not the only person who couldn't go and get their medication.
Local TSA union president LaShonda Palmer and her colleagues worried about paying the rent.
We're all one step away from being out on the street right about now. They don't have money for gas. They don't have money to get childcare. They don't have food.
I am an unpaid air traffic controller.
Handing out flyers urging Congress to end the shutdown, Controller Pete Lefevre.
I'm simply a federal worker trying to do a job and bring home a paycheck for my family.
Also tonight, 25 states are suing the Trump administration for refusing to fund food assistance expiring this week. 42 million people depend on it as Washington's political brinkmanship continues, with both sides blaming each other. Tom?
055, stop.
I got a message from a controller that said I'm running out of money, and if she doesn't get the medicine she needs, she dies. That's the end. So I'm going to either have to quit this job and take a different one instead of moving America's passengers through it or the cargo. Now I'm going to have to choose my family and my daughter.
Somebody came to me and said, "Joe, I have a question for you." I said, "What's that?" "I need your advice. What am I to do? Do I put gas in my car? Do I put food on the table? My wife is out making money. We don't have money for daycare. What do I do?" I didn't have the answers.
Day in and day out, that's now the life of an air traffic controller. The people tasked with making the impossible possible are having it made impossible by not paying them again. So the message is simple. In the shutdown today, I got a message from a controller.
Welcome to day 20.
The message is simple. The process is not as simple. Okay? We can say in the shutdown and sign the one big beautiful bill. We can do it. We can do it. Let's go for it. Mind you, Republicans, If that one big beautiful bill turns out to be more devastating than it helps, y'all gonna hold that for a long time. Y'all gonna hold that for a long time. And guess what? We're gonna have 4 or 3 years, possibly 7 more years of this mess. So y'all better hope it works. Whatever happens, you better hope it works. Either way, I don't have a dog in the fight. I have health care. I have a private job. So this don't really affect me. My health care premiums might go up. It is what it is. I can't do nothing about it. I don't have a dog in that fight. I can't be like, I can't argue that. But it's people that will be affected. So the people that will be affected, we just got to say like, hey, you know, it is what it is.
28 of the Democrat shutdown. We're almost a month into this, and we wanted to highlight a couple of things and a few members this morning. There are some very important developments. But before we get to all that, one of the things that we wanted to note is that really it's painfully obvious to everyone the true motivation of the Democrats' historic obstruction has now become very clear for everyone. I want to use a little simple, Lily, if you show me this real quick. Just real quick, simple facts, because these things get obscured too much. But there are simple facts about the Democrat shutdown that everybody needs to recognize. Here's 4 of them. First of all, we have to have Democrats to reopen the government. You know that in the Senate it requires 60 votes to break an impasse. Wait, hang on, Lily, hold it real here. Keep it close to the podium. I want everybody to see this, okay? We're going to make it simple. I had my 15-year-old son and some of his friends were together over the weekend, and they wanted me to explain it to them as simply as possible. This is the little formulation, okay? Hey, fellas, remember from civics, you got to have 60 votes in the Senate. We only have 53 Republicans, so we must have Democrats to do it. The Democrats are out trying to claim that this is all on Republicans because we control the government. We don't control the Senate without 60 votes, so you have to have them. Now they've voted 13 times, those Senate Democrats, counting the House and the Senate together, they voted 13 times to keep the government closed. And what they're demanding as a ransom to reopen the government are some really crazy things. They want to restore $200 billion in health benefits paid for by U.S. taxpayers to illegal aliens and non-citizens. We can't do that. They want billions of dollars in wasteful programs to be returned to foreign countries for things.
See, that's what I don't agree with. Like, they say $200 billion to fund illegal. It's not $200 billion to fund illegal health care for illegal immigrants. That's not the truth. Is there some truth in the statement? Yes, because of the loopholes. Close the freaking loopholes. Close the loopholes. If that's what it is, close the loopholes. It's not $200 billion for illegal immigrants. They're not giving $200 billion to illegal immigrants. That's preposterous. It's a lie. There's some truth in it? Yes. Because through the loophole, I'm going to keep explaining it, that is illegal immigrants will receive health care based on those loopholes. Close the loopholes. It's that simple. Go in there and negotiate. Figure it out. Sign the bill and start closing the loopholes. You have to, if you can put your foot down this much for this one big beautiful bill, you can go in and start closing those loopholes immediately. But y'all don't want to do the work. Y'all just want to shut everybody out of it. They just want to shut everybody out of it. That's what they're doing.
That none of you would agree with. We're not going to do that. They want $500 million to go back to left-leaning news organizations, paid for by taxpayers. We can't do that. And then they want to cut $50 billion from the Rural Hospital Fund that Republicans got signed into law July 4th to prop up health care in red states and rural areas around the country. It's too important. But they
red states? They don't want to do it for blue states, just red states?
Way. They know that we can't do it. And now that they've begun to admit what this is all about, thanks, Lee, put it on the thing there. They're admitting what they're up to. Chuck Schumer said every day of the shutdown gets better for us, meaning the Democrat Party. And you know, we had the second-ranked Democrat in the House, the minority whip, who just said a few days ago, at the end of last week, that we know that this is causing great pain for the American people, but we have to use this leverage. We don't have many times where we have leverage like this. And so they've shown you what the real motivation is. But ultimately, why are they doing all that? Let me summarize this really quickly, as simply as I can, for the civic students back home. Republicans are not demanding anything, literally nothing. All we want is to reopen the government. The Democrats are...
Wait, what? You're not demanding anything? Like the one big beautiful bill isn't one big demand? Y'all, we listen to this.
Demanding all those things I just showed you on the chart, plus a lot more. When I say they want to send money to foreign countries, this is some of the things that they would propose that we spend money on again. They're demanding, this is a ransom to reopen the government. Things like $4 million for global LGBTQI plus awareness campaigns around the world. $4 million for the LGBTQI plus democracy grants in the Balkans. They want $2 million for feminist democratic principles projects in Africa. We're not doing that. But
well, cut it out. Cut it out. Cut that out. Okay? Tell them, okay, we're not doing that. Okay? What else do you want money for? We need the $200 billion for the health care. Okay? Cut the illegals out. Cut it where the illegals can't get health care. Okay? Get the real Americans health care. Cut it out. That's how you get it done. Mike Johnson don't want to do that. Mike Johnson don't want to negotiate. Mike Johnson and John Thune don't want to negotiate. This is their shutdown. They're causing this. If you need the Democrats' vote, you need to meet the Democrats somewhere in the middle. But y'all won't. It's not even, y'all don't even got to step over to their side. You just got to, get closer. It's that simple. It's that simple. Tell them we're not funding that shit. I don't even know why we're funding anything around the world. Let's fund America. So if that's really what the Democrats is doing, goddamn it, Democrats, cut it out. Cut it out. We don't need it. Can we fund America first and then get with the other stuff later? You know what I'm saying? Do a fundraiser or something. I don't know, but don't do it right now. Like we talk about real American problems, and we shouldn't be focusing on the world. Let Donald Trump keep giving money to Argentina and all that other crap. But right now, Democrats, cut that bull crap out of there and let's get it done. Like this.
But again, the question is why? Why? This sounds crazy. It is. Why would they do this? And what we saw on vivid display over the weekend was the re-emphasis of this fact. This is motivated purely out of fear. And what do we mean by that? You saw the Democratic leader in the House, Hakeem Jeffries, endorse Zohran Mamdani for mayor of New York City on Friday. It was an illustration of what we're facing here. The Democrats right now fear the far left activists more than they fear air traffic controllers, border patrol agents, American service members, and so many others missing their paychecks.
That's
they fear
false.
the Marxist insurgents like Mamdani more than they fear families and children going hungry from lapsed benefits that keep food on their tables. They simply fear losing their own political positions next November if they don't appease the angry far left base right now. And they will appease that base at any cost, no matter how much pain's inflicted. In fact, they've said in their own words, this gets better for us day by day. How does it get better? Because they're proving to the angry far left base in their party that they will prioritize them over the American people. And simply put, it's the profound fear in the Democratic Party that drives this shutdown. It is not principle, it is not policy, it is certainly not concern for the constituents that they say that they want to represent. We know that because even their own constituents now are begging Democrats to stop the political games and reopen the government.
If the Republicans say to open up the government and then we'll negotiate. They saying all that with their fingers crossed behind their back, like, and shaking your hand. Yeah, we'll do it. No, they not. They're not going to do it. They're not going to negotiate after the fact. They're going to go through whatever bullcrap plan the one big beautiful bill is. Y'all not paying. You think when you go buy a car and they give you a contract, just sign the contract, just buy the car, and then we'll negotiate your price after you purchase the car. Do you think they do that? You think they're gonna be like, oh, well, now that you've signed it, yeah, we could give you a lower payment. We can cut some thousands off of that. No. Come on, y'all can't be that gullible for real.
Using to vote for the continuing resolution. You're blaming the Republicans for the shutdown, but in point of fact, it's the Democrats in the Senate who are refusing to vote for the clean continuing resolution to fund the government for 7 weeks. I mean, that just as a point of fact, the way that we have always covered shutdowns is that the party that is not voting for the CR, the continuing resolution to fund the government, is the party that is blocking the government funding and is responsible for the shutdown. That's how we.
Real world effects from the shutdown, though. I mean, are people saying, wait a minute, we understand the healthcare argument, but I'm not getting a paycheck now?
Yeah, I mean, shutdowns are terrible.
But are they criticizing your side, the Republican side, a pox on all your houses, saying, I need that paycheck, I'm a federal worker?
We are seeing that, of course, families that are all of a sudden relying on, a paycheck for the work they do from the federal government, when that doesn't come, that's an incredible hardship. Shutdowns are terrible, and of course there will be, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously, but it is one of the few leveraged times we have. I mean, shutdowns are terrible, and of course there will be, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously, but it is one of the few leveraged times we have.
Using to vote for the continuing resolution. You're blaming the.